Hello, welcome to part 2 of our Japanese landing craft or hovercraft build. And I'm just going to show you where we're at now. In the last video we're up to painting part of the, I guess you call it the hull. And what I've done here is I've painted the silver. Now the instructions on here, one of the paints they recommended was Chrome Silver X11 from Tamiya, which is what I got because nothing else was available. And since then I've painted it on and I don't like it. You look at you see that silver, you can see through that silver fleck that's running through there. I don't like that. When I look at the actual photos of this landing hovercraft, it doesn't look like that. And not only is that going to be the silver color, but so is most of all the superstructure on both sides, the silver. And I just don't like that chrome, that metal fleck through it. So what I'm going to do is I've managed to make a few phone calls and I've found that I can get Tamiya's XF16 flat aluminium, and that's going to look a lot better. It's not going to have that silver through it, and I'm just going to repaint that. So that's put a bit of a delay on things. I was hoping to get this a couple of coats of that silver on today, and then possibly, if it dried well enough, masked it up for the black, which we have here, which is going to be the metal black, which will be fine for this base section. So in the meantime, we'll move on to the next step. I'll just put this aside. There. And we'll move on. I also won't be able to paint these, which are ready to paint as well, until I pick up. Fingers crossed the place is open today. Their RC Crew is the name of the store. They have two sections. They have one for the hobbyist with remote control cars and models and paints and everything, and particularly the paints I need. And then they also have a section back where they do all the Warhammer gaming and all that sort of stuff that I don't want to get into because I know I get addicted, so I don't. But they have all that in the back of the store, and apparently there's some tournament on today, which means that I should be able to get in there and I'm sure they'll sell me some paint. So I'm confident. So what we'll do is we'll move on to step 3. Now, step 3 is just a few small pieces here. So there's make 2 and make 2. I'm not too sure what they are actually. They go on there. I'll bring the camera down for a closer look. Okay, so it's these here, and they include a couple of bits of photo etch that need to be bent and go over the top. So if I make up those two and 2 of these, that's where they go after we've finished painting the hull. But at least they can be put aside and they're already done. And I've just noticed if I lift over in step 6, there's another 2 pieces here with photo etch that need to be made up as well. So maybe we could work across here and get all of that done and those pieces put aside. Okay, so yeah, I will do that. And in the meantime, I've still got about an hour and a half to wait before this store opens. So let's go find these pieces on the sprue and get them off and get them made up. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, so we're skipping ahead to step 3, and I've got sprue D out, and I'm taking the first 2 pieces off, D56, D55. It says make 2 of these, so there is actually 2 sprue Ds, and I have looked exactly the same. So everything will be 2 of, I guess, when it comes off these sprues, or more. So these ones will be same number again, so we'll just take them off. 2 off. Now I did notice on the first two pieces there's a little bit of flashing plastic on there. There's and this one as well by the looks of it. Just you can just see it's a little piece. Get the camera right. Focus for me. Come on. Be nice to me. My new camera. There it is. A little bit of plastic just there. So anyway, we'll just tidy that up. Of course, the nubs I've just taken off. We'll trim them down. Now I've noticed that, I'll just put them aside. There's also, we have photo etch on here. So put this away. These back. And our photo etch is, and we need 3 pieces off here, 10, 11 and 17. Well, that's quite easy. So, and there'll be 2 of each. So we got 10, 11, and those 2 will be 17. It's nice, very thick photo etch. Trumpeter always have very thick photo etch. I haven't even opened this yet. Let's just get this up. That. Now, what I might do too is I'm just going to go wash my hands, because I notice that through my lack of experience, but a bit of it, that handling photo etch, you get fingerprints all over it. Quickly giving my hands a quick wash stops that problem, and it's a good habit to have anyway. All right, back in a sec. Okay, so let's get this out and have a look. This photo etch. Here's, my hands are still wet. I didn't dry them properly. Right. So now I can touch this, and other than getting wet fingerprints on there, they're clean fingerprints. That's the important part. It's probably just that the metal, whatever it's made of, just shows up fingerprints more than when you're handling plastic. But anyway, all right. So let me get my little photo etch cutting tile. I find tile really good for this, and then we'll get something to cut the photo etch with. I have a special little knife of a nice new blade, and we'll get these off. So we want number 10 and number 11. So I do want to make sure I've got them the right way around. Obviously that's the way they want to, so that's the way we want them to face. So we'll try and keep them in that orientation. So I'm going to take off number 10. Okay. So number 10 is that one. 1, 2, 3. It's definitely nice thick photo etch. And there's one. I did notice this photo etch doesn't have any of the plastic film that normally Trumpeter do have on their photo etch, but there is no film on this one. Just provides a little extra layer of protection. All right, so that's number 10. I'm just going to get a little piece of card here to keep these on safely. 1 sec. Okay, so put those down there. We've got a photo etch there. That's 1. We need number 11 and 10. So it was 10 and 11. It's this one. That one there. That. And the other piece was number 17. One of these here. Okay. That piece, when these go together, runs along the top, and then we've got etch for both sides. Put that there. I'll just take the other ones off for the second one. Come right back. Okay, so we've got our pieces here. So all I need to do now is just clean off these little nubs. You can run your finger across there and feel that. It takes no weight at all to clean those little metal pieces off. There we go. This one here. There. And these are quite good. These sticks are, you buy these in cosmetic stores, quite cheap. They last forever. It's done. But it's important to get these off because they'll affect the fit. There's usually not much tolerance when it comes to photo etch. So gotta make sure they're up right. So that's all it takes. That's done. That's nicely trimmed up. Okay. Now I'll have to compare that to the other one because I've mixed it up, which is the right way around. That's it there. Okay. And I'll just do this. You don't want to watch me doing all the other pieces, but again, it's the same thing. It's a good idea to go with the piece. See what I mean? Like run it that way. If you go across like that, you're going to bend this. Even though this is thick, it probably won't bend. A lot of photo etch is very, very thin. So go along it that way. Don't go across it, otherwise, yeah, you'll bend it. That's done. So that's good. All right, I'll get on with the rest of these. We'll come back in a sec. Okay, so I've got the two pieces sorted out, photo etch set up for both of them. I just thought I'd show you here. So here's one of the pieces, and this is number 10, okay? And there's number 10 there. Let's come in real close and have a look. Okay, just see if I can just move that up a bit. Okay, so just so you know, look at the difference in the shape from the piece in the picture to the actual piece. When I was taking them off, I was just thinking, hang on, that doesn't look like that. Here it is here, number 11 piece, next to what the picture says it looks like. And it's nothing like that. So my first thought was, well, that's great. So hopefully they'll fit on the piece. So I took the pieces, I cleaned them up a bit. I'm just holding them together there just to see how they fit and they're okay. And then when I did put the photo etch, and there is a little recessed area all the way around where it sits in, it is the correct shape. It does fit. So obviously they've got the picture completely wrong, which is something I'll keep note of throughout the rest of the book, the instructions, in case I come across that again. I can't find a piece of photo etch because it doesn't look the right shape. But yeah, you can see that nothing in common with the picture, but that is the correct PE number 10. All right, now while we're down here, we'll just have a look. When I put these together, there's quite a gap there. Bring that in there. There we go. Yeah, so there's quite a gap there. And on the back here, we've got a gap. Sorry, I'm trying to keep that in frame. Yeah, so there's also a gap in there as well. Not so bad, but at the top end, yeah, you can see that gap. In fact, that hole there nothing really goes in that hole from what I can tell. Just through checking the instructions, I might be wrong, but anyway, we'll check. But it does look like there's going to need to be some areas filled. I have to use a bit of Tamiya putty. But anyway, so what I'll do is I will get the pieces glued together, and I have checked the photo etch. It does drop straight in, so that's not a problem. But once these are glued together, I'll go back and have a look at these gaps, and we may have to fill them. All right, back in a sec. Now, I did just go through and have a look, and I found out why that hole is in the back of there. See that? See that hole in there? So nothing actually goes in there, and that's sitting up where the actual ramp drops down. So from what I can figure is that probably is connected via some sort of a chain, which would be connected back to like a tailgate you'd find on a truck as the ramp goes down. I think that would be, the chain would connect up to that, but there is no such thing with the model, included in the model. But we could add something, we could make something up, I'm sure. So I won't fill that hole, I'll leave it as it is, and we'll see how that goes. All right, again, back in a sec. Hey, good news, guys. I got the paint. I just whipped up there. They were open. They were war gaming out the back, something or other. You had what I wanted there, flat aluminium. Bought it, came back. Just give them one coat over the top. I'll leave that for dry for about an hour or so and give it a second coat. It's already looking much better. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and push on with these. So that's step 3, 2 of those. The reason is because now that I've got the paint, I can paint these as well. So I'll make all these up. These have to be painted before I put the photo etch on, because I need to be able to get inside. I've glued them together now, but I need to be able to get inside there. So the sheets of photo etch will go over the sides and the top, but you'll still be able to see through them. So make sure that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do number 4 now, which is on this sprue. It's just these 2 pieces, and there's 2 of these sprues, so we're going to do 2 of these parts. Also needs 2 other pieces of photo etch, which I haven't even looked at yet. We'll just have a quick look, see if they've got the shape right in the photo. So we need photo etch number, what do we got? Number 18. So number 18 is that one there. So yes, it does look like the picture, so that's good. That one has to be bent into a bit of a curve too. I'll show you how to do that after. I'm also going to go on to step 6, which includes 2 more pieces that need to be made, all around the same area on the deck. So we've got step 6 is these as well, and again photo etch on them, and 2 of them. So I'm going to make all of those pieces so that when the deck is painted up completely and dried, as you'll see here, they'll all just drop down and go into place, along with a few other bits and pieces that we'll do when the time comes. All right, so I'll go ahead and do these, put them in a container with these, or actually paint them up, and I will also paint these up, because these ramps can be painted now that I've got my aluminium paint. All right, back in a second, or shortly, whatever comes first. Okay, welcome back. So I've painted this. I'm just letting it dry. I've done all the aluminium now, all along the sides, which is looking much, much better than that silver was. So I'm going to let that dry properly. I've given that 2 coats over the afternoon. Quite sure once I've masked this up to do all the black, none of it's going to lift off. I've gone and painted the parts for step 3, 4 and 6, which are the ones that were all along the top here of all these pieces. They're undercoated at the moment. I just did an undercoat. It's now, it's going on to 6 p.m. now, so I won't paint them again with the silver today. So I've labelled them and put them aside. Some of these have to be bent, but we'll do that after and fit them. So what I'm going to do now, I'll move on to number 5, step 5 here, which is quite a few little bits and pieces, about a dozen or so little bits and pieces that are going on the bow, and looks like some on the stern here, along with the pieces that we've put up here. We've done up here. So I don't know why this here actually shows these as option. Oh, I get it now. So optional. So you can use either one of those, but not both, it looks like. So just try and check to see if that's correct. Is that what I've done here? Yeah. Okay, so that's a bit silly what they've done there. So step 3 and step 4, make 2. That's all it says there. So you go ahead and make 2 of each. But when you come down to step 5, you find out that you can't use both of them. You can only choose to use 1 of each. These are optional, but you can use this one or this one. So why they wouldn't put that up there and tell you it's optional before you make them, I don't know. But there you go. There's one of these things where I didn't look ahead. I didn't read ahead, and I've gone to the extra trouble and made, well, basically something I'm not going to be able to use, depending which one I choose to put in. Anyway, there we go. There's one tip if you're going to do this model, is step 5, have a look at these 2 pieces that are optional and decide which one you're going to make before you go making them both, which will cut back on a bit of time. Anyway, so I'm going to do all these little pieces off sprue D. I'm going to cut them off and get them all tidied up, and I'll place them all in here probably, although they are small, so I'll probably put them in one of these in here. And then there's a few more C9. There's one there. There's a couple of C sprue stuff here, but there's D20s, so forth. So I'll put them all into here, and then most likely, because I've already skipped ahead to 7 and done these, which aren't optional, they do actually go on, thank God. But there's a few more bits and pieces to go on that bow of the boat there, of the hovercraft as well. So again, I will probably mark a container as step 7 and put those little pieces in there. The idea will be to most likely just hand paint these little pieces before I put them on. We'll see how we go. And yeah, that's about that. So, and then obviously we go into a lot of stuff here, lots and lots of bits and pieces as we start building up all the bits of superstructure along the sides. Now, let's not get ahead, although I should have got ahead and noticed this one here, but anyway. All right, so I've got my sprue here, both of them. I'll just nip all those bits off here, put them in the little container, and then we'll have a look at when the best sequence will be for painting them. All right, back again shortly. Okay, I'll just show you here. I've got all the pieces off for step 5, but they've made a mistake here too. I just thought I should point out. So on the bow of the ship there, of the Hovercraft, we've got D20 and D37, which is fine. That's one of these and these. All right, you can see that. Now, at the other end on the bow, the other end, which is also the bow, which they're calling, it is actually the other end of the ship. I'm fairly sure, yeah. So they're calling both ends the bow for a start. Is this one D20, which is the same, that's fine, D20. There's 2 sprues of D. But this one here, they're calling D20, a third D20. Well, we don't have 3 of these, we only have 2. So what they mean is it's this piece here, D37, which is the same as it was up here. Okay, so if you're building this and you're going, hang on, what's wrong here? And the other thing too is that the picture in the photo there, it doesn't even actually look like this. It's just the angle it's at, which doesn't show this piece pointing off to the side like it does up in there, you see. So you can read that, yeah. So D37 and D20 is actually D37 there, which is the other second of the same piece there. All right. Okay, so I've just got to tidy up all the little bits of all the nub pieces off these and drop them in my little plastic bowl, little plastic container. And then I was thinking of going over to step 7 and just doing these pieces as well in a separate container. In fact, I will go over and do those. All right, just fix that bit. All right, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So it's the next day now, and this is all dried, of course. But I'm going to give it another day, just to be sure before I go masking up anything. And I've taken all the parts off for step 5 and step 7, the manual. So that's all these little pieces are off, excuse me, all taken off, and step 7 all done. Now there's a couple of large pieces like here that go on the sides that have to be silver, and I will actually airbrush those, as well as there was a couple others. Oh, these little pieces here on the front, I'll also airbrush those silver. Now I could have done them while they were on there, I just didn't look ahead and realize, but that's fine, so I'll airbrush those. The rest of the pieces, all these little small bits and pieces, I'll be able to brush paint those, because if I were to put them on now, they would get in the way of me masking off the dark area that needs to be done in that corner there. Because if we look at the paint thing here, these 2 spots here need to be done a darker 32, which is what have we got for 32 is dark grey, and then of course that which will be the metal black, I think I'm doing. Yeah, metal black. So if I were to mask off, those pieces sticking out would be in the way, so they'll be fine to hand brush either before they're on or while they're on. It's fine, because they actually do sit on the part that's silver, So brushing them on there will be fine. It's not like I'm going to get any on the black area. That's about as far as I'm going to go today myself, not the end of the video. The next step will be, of course, masking the base of the deck. So we need to run some masking down both sides to cover that silver area, because we don't want to get black on there, and pretty much all this center area is going to be black. There are a few sections. If we look at the instruction again, paint guide, so looking at it that way, so that's all black, and then it goes up to these little areas out here, which will be here and in there. So those areas will be the dark metal, black metal as well on each side. So that'll be masked up as well. And the silver, well, that's already done for us. All right, so when I come back, we'll have a look at the masking effort that I put into that. We'll see how that looks. Okay, back shortly. Okay, hello, welcome back. So I'm just looking at the way I'm going to paint this. This all has to be done black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint these silver. Now this side's already done because it's all part of the spraying of the silver that had to be done there, and the same with that. These ones here, so I'm going to go and paint the silver on them now. And then what I'll do is I'll mask them up before I paint the black. Now the masking tape I have is, I think it's 3mm, and unfortunately it's too wide to just run that down the strip. It's going to be, yeah, the masking tape's too wide. So what I will do is I will just mask one side at a time, spray the black, and then I'll mask the other side so that none of the silver will get the black on it, if you know what I mean. So I'll run the mask over, even though it's below the hang there, it won't matter because I'll spray this side the black. I'll do it the same here. And then when it dries, I'll just mask the other side and spray the other side black, so that in the end, these strips will stay silver. And that's going to look a lot more realistic, especially when I put a wash on there that's going to bring out these holes in here, which are actually used for the chains to tie down the vehicles on the deck. Okay, all good. I'll get back into it. Back shortly. Okay, so while that's drying, I've just painted those silver strips. I've got these back out, and these were done in step 3 and 4, and they're all painted up. And the reason I painted it, these all need photo etch on them, so there's all our photo etch for them. The reason I painted them up before the photo etch is because I needed to get inside there, paint them, because you can sort of see through this photo etch. It's like a mesh, so I know that that's covered inside. Once the photo etch is, we've glued it all on, then I'll give it another coat of the silver that it's supposed to be. So yeah, now it's just a matter of placing these pieces in. Now some of these will be a bit trickier because these have to be bent, as you can see here. These are curved, but if you remember earlier I mentioned that these were optional. So it wasn't until I went to the next step I realized that we have an option of which ones to use. So I will give the bending ones a go that need to be bent. I'll give them a go since I've made them up. But if I'm not happy with that, or I have problems with it, because like I also mentioned earlier, this photo etch is really thick, so I may have to anneal it first. And if anyone doesn't know what that means, it means heating it up to soften the metal so it can bend easier. Might have to do that. But first I will do the ones in step 3 here, which don't need bending, and we'll see how they look and how they go on. So pretty much these are the ones here. Now I'm just having a look at, actually no, that's That's further on. So the one for step 3 are these two here. Okay. And if I have a look at the instructions, I would think that that's them there. And that's for the second one. These were the ones that were the odd shape. Remember, the photo etch is nothing like that looks like in the instructions. All right, so there's one for example, and really it should just slide straight in. There's like a little recessed area, and that's going to sit in there like that. Let's have a close look. Yeah, and you can see what I mean by being able to see through that, which is why I painted the inside first. And that sits really nicely in there. Look at that. It's a really good fit. I'm probably aiming more to go for putting these two on rather than the curved ones on. I think this might be easier, and they look quite good. There's also the piece that goes on the top, which will be like this. Just place that on there. And it should just fit in there. There we go. Doing this with the wrong glasses on, so that's why it's a bit of a struggle. There we go. That just popped down into the grooves there. It's also a very good fit. There we go. Easy. All right, so I'll put these on. Now the glue I'm going to use for this is my MIG Ultra Glue, which is for photo etching clear parts. The reason I like to use this is it dries completely clear, so I don't have to worry about getting shiny bits that CA glue leaves behind. Sometimes you get, it glistens. I mean, it's going to be painted anyway, but I don't want to block those gaps in the mesh, because if I get glue in there and then I paint it, well, the paint's going to go over the glue and block them out. So I need to keep them clear. The good thing with this too is you can water it down. And like I have here, there it is there. And I keep it separate in this little container. And I can water it down to as whatever consistency as I need and just place it all in there. Using a toothpick would probably be the best bit, or even a tiny fine little brush just to put it in there and put the pieces in. All right, so I will go and do that now, okay? And we'll come back and have a look at when they're all done. How's that? I'm not going to make you watch all of that. We'll have a look at the end result, okay? Back shortly. Okay, hello, welcome back. So it's a day's gone by, and I'll just show you what I've done here. So I've put all the mesh grills in position in these, and the glue's just drying. I'll give them I'll be able to spray them the silver later on. That one was a little bit bent. I had to clamp it, but it's fine. Now, I decided not to go with the ones that need to be bent to put in here. These are the optional ones, because I'm quite happy with the way they look. They sort of match the other pair, so it sort of looks more suitable. And plus, on the actual boat itself, they are actually like that. So now I'm got on to masking this up here, and what I'm doing is I need this to be masked up to look like this. Now, unfortunately, this marking guide doesn't show any of the detail. It's just basically got the shape and the two colors. So it's pretty difficult to see exactly where these lines actually go to. But I have worked out there is a little corner there where obviously a piece will sit on here. So that's one edge. And I've done a straight line across there to where there's a little mark on there that I'm guessing that's where that ends. So this area is the black. They're a little bit sticking out, see there, that's part of this silver area that does actually extend into the black there. So that'll be fine. And what I found was to trim the Tamiya tape, which I have, which is too wide for that. It's actually not that hard to trim because there's a slight little recess. So for example, for this part, which saves me a lot of time now, because otherwise I would have had to mask this off and spray it in sections. Whereas now, because I figured out how to mask this properly, I'll be able to spray this all in one go, and it's going to give a much more even look to it. Now, what I've done is I put the tape over, making sure that one edge was right on the edge. I'm still to do this side. And then what I did was I put a fresh blade in my knife and I ran it down that edge. See, I just ran it down there all the way along and then peeled off the excess, and it left me with almost pretty much perfect masking of that silver area that's got to stay silver. Sorry, that's really dropping out of focus. There we go. So now what I'll do is masking that was fine. I did the proper Tamiya masking tape for the edge, all the edges, and then I used my frog tape, which is not as good as Tamiya tape. There's a slight risk that if I was just to use this tape on there, paint may bleed underneath. It doesn't quite have that grip that the Tamiya tape does. So that's why I've created the edge first, and then I overlapped it with this so that I'm not going to get any bleed underneath. So that'll be done. So what I'll do now is I'll tape up this one, and then I'll tape all of this side the same as that, and it'll be ready to spray. Another area here that's a bit tricky is all this, which is silver, along here where all these are sticking out. So what I might do for that is just run some tape, Tamiya tape, straight across that edge there. I think that should stay in place. It should stick to those, and that'll protect them from accidentally getting sprayed black. Same with the ramp on the back here, or front, because they tend to call both ends the bow. It goes in this direction. This is where the pilots or captain or whatever we call the guys that are controlling this. And I think I did hear commander. I'm not sure, but anyway, that's where they are. This is the direction it goes, this way. So I would say that's the bow and that's the stern. The instructions listed both bows. Anyway. All right, so like I said, I'll get this all taped up now, and we'll come back and have a look at it taped up before I go and give it the paint. And this I'll probably go right now and paint these up and let them dry. And again, because that's a fairly fine mesh grill, I've just got to make sure my paint mix is really, really thin, and I just spray it on there in layers because we don't want to block those holes with paint. We'll see how we go with that. My new airbrush is going really, really well. I think the needle is a bit bigger than my last. I was using a 0.2. I think this may be a 0.3 because I do find that when you do pull back on it and let the extra paint go out, it really lets out that paint and drains the cup quite quick. So you do have to control it, but it is a nice flow. The brushes and the airbrushes working really well. All right, enough talk. Back in a second. Okay, so there it is, all taped up, and I don't want this tape to stay on longer than it has to. So I'm going to go spray this now. Wish me luck. I'll just do it light coat first, and then slowly build it up until we got the nice color, which will be metal black. All right, it's not as scary as taking off the masking tape, but it's up there. All right, back shortly, and we'll have a look at this when the tape comes off. Okay. All right, back again, and as you can see, I've sprayed these. The grills have come up really nice. I just did a really light coat so that the grills wouldn't get filled in. They've come up really good. There's one of the other ones here. Again, come up nice. So now I've painted the black base on our hovercraft. It's outside drying. I'm only going to give it about half an hour to dry. That's all I need to leave it. Then we'll get it under the camera here, and I'll take all the masking tape off in front of the camera, which makes me even more nervous because I can't hide any mistakes, can I? So anyway, happy with these, and we'll come back now. I'll just go get this. It'll be a couple of minutes. For you, it'll be 2 seconds, and we'll take the tape off and see how it came up. Back in a sec. Okay, as I promised, here it is. Now, the first thing you'll notice is how rough that paint looks, but that's how I want it to be. Okay, that's going to help in the weathering. I mean, vehicles have been running on and off this thing, and you're not going to have a beautiful black shiny paint job on there. So there it is. I've got a few blotches in there. I've got little bits where there's probably been oil stains over time and blot marks and stuff and all the rest. So pretty much without getting too much glare, that's how she's going to look. But now I need to take all this masking off. Now, like I said, I literally sprayed this 10 minutes, less than half an hour ago. But as you'll see by my new little temperature gauge here, and I'd like to thank Ron Calvary for inspiring me to get one of these. It's actually quite hot, as you can tell. It's 21 degrees Celsius inside. The lower temperature, 21.2, is supposed to be outside, but where it plugs into the side there, I don't have space to. I can't put the little probe that it comes with. This one here, it won't reach outside from where I am, so I have to ignore the bottom temperature. But the humidity is 49%, which is what I think the hydrometer means. So yeah, but 28 degrees, and it's quite late in the afternoon. Actually, it's 5:34 p.m. So it's going to be a warm night. We're going to have a hot day tomorrow as well. So I think this is quite dry enough for us to get this masking tape off. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'll set this to a time lapse because I'm going to do this slowly and carefully, and I don't want to scratch marks or do anything like that. So we'll have a look at it. I'll speed it up is what I mean. I'll make it faster and can watch it all in about 5 minutes or less. Okay, so I'll get this off. Fingers crossed it will be looking pretty good, eh? All right, let's go. Okay, so how about that? It came off perfectly. Not a single bit went under the tape at all. Even this edge along here that I was concerned about is perfect. And the same with there. Not a problem. Look at that. Now I know the silver lines down the center are looking a bit new and shiny, but of course I'll be using a panel wash and dull those down a bit too. But yeah, look at that. Really, really good. All right, so I'm going to go and put this outside on the balcony to dry. And that's it for the video. We're up to almost an hour. So thank you for watching. Please comment below if you've got any hints or tips or suggestions on this. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notifications tab to make sure you get notified of when each video is uploaded. And in part 3 we'll try and get, well, we won't try, I will get some of those little bits and pieces that I've got here in the box. We'll get them painted up, because just about all of those can go on. They will be able to go on. There's all the little holes here for all those bits and pieces to go. And we'll most likely be able to put the ramps on as well. These are all painted up. So if I can fit those, then we could actually put the cushion along the bottom, because that's supposed to be done as well. So we'll all do that in part 3. All right, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you all then in part 3. Bye.